Okay, for my next project, I think we'll do a 3D printed version of the robot from the 1954 movie Devil Girl from Mars. And from what I can tell, the robot was called Chani, I guess Chani. Could be Chantai, I don't know. In any case, there are quite a few stills that can be, well, the video can be watched on YouTube, but there are a lot of stills that you can close in on. For example, this one of the head kind of shows the little, let's see if we can make that bigger. Here we go. You can kind of see how they put some lights in a tube, and it's transparent, but it looks slightly frosted. Nothing spectacular going on up here, like three little black things. This one looks like it has a little something sticking out of it. These circles have got their bottoms cut open, and this one, you can see the bottom half of this circle is basically clear. I believe that's just about eye level when the guy is in the costume, so that would give him some vision looking forward. Now, this is probably the largest of the cardboard movie robots, by the way. So here you can get a little better idea of scale of a person standing next to it, and we can go, yeah, if that was a guy, this is a little closer to the camera. That might give you some vision straight out for sighting, plus you would have vision straight down at your feet. But just a nice big hunk of cardboard. Let's see, let's go back this way in case we missed any other good ones. Gives you from the other side, not a real clear shot. There's one where it's leaving the ship, where you can see the big feet, the joints. This piece here, I think we've got better pictures of that, where you can find that it's not it's not just a flat piece. It actually triangulates this way, a bar across the front, and these curve in and back out. Got more people, him standing in the same location. This is a good one, because you can actually, well, when I close in, of course, it gets fuzzier, but you can see the triangulation, the shape of the claws, the flower pot arms. Again, the rivets. I believe these probably were functional in holding a chest harness over the operator. There's probably dual rivets on the back, but I don't believe there's ever any backside views. There is a bit of a ducktail to the back of the body. This is good for the head, which is normally very foggy, but again, you can kind of see where they looped some lights there. Straight on. I think we already looked at a version of this image. Not quite sure what I'll stick in there. For these, I want to scale this down as small as possible because it's going to be tall. So I have to be able to fit a TT gear motor in there. I'm thinking about using the 1:220 gear ratio. That's the slowest one that I've found so far. And that way I can operate it on hopefully 3 AAA batteries, which will give me 4.5 volts. Which means no matter what kind of LEDs I put up in there, I'll have enough voltage that I can current regulate it down to run the LEDs without having to put in a boost circuit of any sort. Let's see, how come I'm not getting an arrow? Was that the last picture? I guess it is. So, let's close this out. Let's close this out. Let's go into Design Spark Mechanical. Now this is the 3D CAD program, the free version that I use for all my projects and have since I guess around 2015. And there are better ones out there now, but I don't like trying to relearn. And you're going, well, wouldn't it all just be the same? Well, you would think, but it's not. Just changing the verbiage or changing what the look of an icon is or something can, or the order in which you have to do things can really slow a person up when they're not not wanting to stick all the time in there into learning a new program. So as long as I can keep this thing working, and as long as they keep it free, I'll keep using it. So it's loading, and you can see this is the free version. You can always get online, get your own DS Mechanical, Design Spark Mechanical. But let's do an open, because I have started working on some files, and this should be under Chani Robot Devil Girl. Let's take a look at a leg. Okay, so here's this actually isn't where I started. I probably should have opened that first, but we got the leg open now, so we're going to look at it. We're looking at it from the bottom, and let's go back to spin. Let's turn the color off. It's easier to see without that, I think. So basically, I'm going to do a ratchet wheels in the bottom, a shuffle walker, meaning the legs are just going to move forward and backward, and they're going to move on 3mm rods, because I have a limited amount of space. And this circle here is where the cam is going to ride, that's going to connect directly to the motor to move the legs back and forth. Let's leave that open, and let's go and find the motor frame. Here we are. Okay, the motor frame is quite a bit more involved. Had it upside right to begin with. Here we go. So we're looking at from the side. This duckbill shows you this would be the back, and I'm going to run the 3mm rods from this hole through these holes, and this is where that leg fits in and can move back and forth. Now these slots and these openings are where I'm going to push the TT motor down in there, and these holes are where I would screw the motor in with a couple of 632 screws. The top of the motor will be visible here. I opened these holes up, so if I need to get in there to solder wires onto the motor, I can get in this way. This is the front of the robot. This is going to slide up inside the body. And once the motor's down in there and I've wired up to it, this flat spot here is where I'm planning on sliding in the battery holder for the 3 AAA batteries. So basically, to change the batteries, this whole mechanism is going to slide out of the body or slide up into the body. This is the idea I'm working with at the moment. This could very well change once we get further along in the design. But this is just touching base on the project. Chani the robot from the Devil Girl from Mars, 1954. Go ahead and give it a look on YouTube, see what you think about the show. Like I say, I think it was one of the largest of all the movie robots, especially the cardboard-made movie robots. And it could be a fun build. So if you got any comments, leave them down below. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe so you'll get the next update when I actually print some of these parts out and do the body design and do the arm design. And the head dome design is going to be, I suppose, one of the more interesting ones, because there'll be 2 different ways that we can do that dome on top of the head. One will be thermal forming, like I did on a video I did for the General Electric walking machine. I did about a year ago. And the other way, of course, would be 3D printing it on an FDM printer in vase mode, which is a single layer of plastic. Now, of course, the part could be made by PCB way and clear, and it'd be totally clear, and it could be done on a resin printer as well. I'm not going to do either of those 2 methods. I'm just going to probably try the thermal form one, which will give me a completely clear part, and then I'll also try the FDM one, which will give me a non-clear part, because clear always comes out frosted looking. But the frosted ones, when they're a single layer like that, can be sanded and clear coated, and you can get them pretty clear. Now, after having looked at all those pictures that both of us all looked at the beginning, it didn't look like the dome actually was clear. It looked like it was fairly frosted to kind of hide what was going on there inside, but not obscure it completely. So frosted might actually be the way to go. So stay tuned for part 1 of the build, or part 2 of the discussion. We'll see how it turns out.